Hello, Panthers. Welcome to Sips and Skills, a bi-weekly coffee talk about soft skill development in the workplace. My name is Abby Straczynski, and I manage student and young alumni programming for the UWM Alumni Association. Every other week, I have the incredible opportunity to sit down with a great Panther alum and talk a little bit about soft skill development and the role that soft skills play in their lives, both personally and professionally. Today, I am joined by Jen Keller, a 2018 graduate from the Masters in Public Administration program. Jen recently became the village administrator for the Village of Jackson. She is also the president of our MPA chapter, as well as a UWMAA mentor. In her free time, Jen enjoys serving the community of Glendale as the vice president for the Glendale Lions Club. Today, Jen and I will be talking about the really important skill of flexibility and how flexibility comes into play in her life, in her job, as well as her personal life. So welcome, Jen. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, Abby.
How's it going?
It's going well. I'm happy to be
Great.
here.
Good. I'm so happy to have you. So the first question I always like to ask, because this is our alumni coffee talk, is what are you sipping on this morning?
Of course. Once we get to a later part of the morning, I transition from coffee, and I usually like to keep it light with some seltzer water. Today's blackberry.
Perfect. I love bubbly. That's one of my favorite flavors as well. So as I mentioned, today we're going to be talking about flexibility. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you've been doing since you graduated from UWM in 2018, and how flexibility comes into your work and your personal life.
Yeah, flexibility has played a huge role in my progression from my time at UWM and along the lines of my professional career. Flexibility, or to me, the art of time management and constantly adjusting, was not easy at first. I am an individual that really likes a game plan and sticking to it, but I found that the quicker I can be at adjusting and going with a new set of plans, it has helped me be a leader in my organization and the organizations I'm a part of. And especially now when we're all facing a really difficult time during this pandemic, it's been even more important to be a flexible and understanding individual that can be relied upon. So like you've said, I've done a lot of transitioning over the last 4 years. I began in my program in 2016. I completed that by 2018, and I was working. So it's no secret that things can seem crazy hectic when you're pursuing a degree and working. So
Yeah.
Flexibility helped me get through it, and I got better as I went. Full disclosure.
Yeah. Fantastic. And speaking of that, speaking of getting better, you obviously also probably honed that flexibility / time management skill. So do you have any tangible kind of steps that a current student or young alumni could take to become better at being flexible and managing their time to be a really reliable, teammate and employee?
Yeah, as a student, you want to be able to grow and take on more responsibility, whether it's curriculum or having your other job or volunteering. And for me, I never received any formal instruction on how to grow it. A lot of it was trial and error. But there's one thing that I say hands down you have to have before you grow this flexibility skill, and you have to be organized. You have to have that foundational set of either my planner, I brought a prop. A lot of people really like syncing their email account calendars with their mobile devices or a laptop. That's perfectly fine. Whatever helps you stay centered and what you know you have to get done, that's what allows you to then take on more without feeling like you're sinking constantly.
Yeah.
As a student, I loved syllabus day because that was like your baseline.
Yep.
When you go back as a student, you'll see cross marks constantly because things happen. Family, health, the world right now, things can change. So have your baseline before you get involved with growing your set of responsibilities.
Yep.
My next step, I always recommend learn how to prioritize. It doesn't come naturally. You need to feed off of answers to questions you might have to ask. I don't understand how something like a proposal can move from being due next week to the following. There's a lot of factors that go into that. Speakers can cancel engagements the day of, and that can be really stressful. So have as much information every single day as you can. And it's going to take time to ask questions and get engaged in your organization, but that will help you reprioritize. And my third step to your successful flexibility skill is get comfortable using whiteout. Don't be afraid of it. I am a hard written planner girl.
Yep.
And they're not pretty. Like I'll go back 3 months and see my life got really busy that month.
Yep.
It's a really fulfilling thing to be able to look backwards and say, look at how much change I adjusted to. And as you get comfortable with your whiteout, you're going to find your ebb and flow. Don't try to be a hero too early on, or it will lead to maybe more failures than you're willing to overcome. But I think as long as you set out with a solid, organized planner or calendar, you get used to reprioritizing and that sort of foosball shift, then eventually you'll get more comfortable using more whiteout or deleting calendar invites, things like that.
Absolutely. I love all of those. And I personally, I'm a paper planner as well as my digital calendar, and I put everything on my digital calendar. I block out time for a walk in the morning. I block out time for lunch. I block out, like, I really fill up my schedule so that I'm constantly being reminded of what I need to do. And then, like you said, I move things around, I delete things, priorities change, and I move, a priority up to the top and something else at the bottom. So yeah, I think all of those skills building suggestions are fantastic. So thank you so much for sharing that. And then I also wanted to, looking back on your time at UWM, and you touched on this a little bit, but as a graduate student and an employee, and a person just with a full life, how did flexibility come into play during your time here at UWM?
It is a good question. Like I've said, it didn't come naturally, but for those students who oftentimes find themselves having jobs to get them through school, have family commitments, have volunteer commitments, flexibility is very important. And in a climate where we feel like we're always thinking or doing more than what we probably can already handle, I found the best success during my time at UWM was making sure you're scheduling time for yourself to decompress, and also making sure that you are making connections with the other students in your program that might be in the same boat as you. Whether they're doing a great job at balancing it all, or maybe could use some help, no matter what those different connections may lend you in terms of an example, you will learn as you go what works and what doesn't. So stay open to learning more from your peers, because as somebody who was working during the day and then going to school at night, I learned so many invaluable lessons from those who were in my program with me, sometimes even already placed in careers that I aspired to have. And so doing a little bit of shop talk can really help you learn those lessons, sometimes a little easier than the hard way and learning them yourself.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. And then the last question I always like to ask is, if students or young alumni watching this video want to get in touch with you, whether it's to learn more about the MPA program or what it is to be a city or village administrator, how can they contact you?
Yeah, I'd love to be in contact with students. So you can reach me on my LinkedIn under Jen Keller, Village of Jackson. And I can also be found online. The Village of Jackson has a website. It's villageofjackson.com. And under the Village Departments tab, you'll find a complete list of me as the administrator. I'll have an email and phone number there.
Excellent. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. This was fantastic. Really helpful information. Thank you, viewers, for taking the time to watch this today. Join us in 2 weeks when we will have another Sips and Skills alumni conversation. These conversations can be found on our social media, our LinkedIn page, as well as our Instagram. They are also all archived on our website. So visit alumni.uwm.edu/Sips and Skills. If you like or comment on the videos on our social media, we'll be doing drawings throughout the spring for Stone Creek Coffee gift cards. So go over to follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram and like or comment on Jen's video for a chance to win. So thank you again. Thank you, Jen, and have a wonderful day, and go Panthers.
Thanks, Abby. Go Panthers.